Hi everyone. This is Minotaurus. So I will be talking this in English for the news that I covered in Japanese before. It is 22nd of July, Wednesday, and the time actually was early in the morning for the Japanese news, but now it's around noon, 12:30 a.m. or p.m. So today and from now on, I would like to start talking about more on Singapore news. I found some role models online and met some people online that I think I would like to look at and I would like to really focus on delivering valuable messages, valuable news to Japanese people in Japan, as well as anybody in Singapore. And apologies, I don't talk about news that much to other people on my daily basis. So apologies if some of the English vocabulary could be, sometimes wrong, but bear with me. I will get better at it. So look, I'm gonna cover two topics today. One is obviously, not obviously, but our favorite topic, coronavirus in Singapore, and the other will be go to travel. I have already been talking about go to travel in my previous videos, but today, 22nd of July, is a day of implementation, first day. So people who can apply to this can already start staying from tonight. So any stay from tonight is applicable. So let's get started. So if you look at this Channel News Asia website, the top stories is a coronavirus. This is a news as of yesterday, 9 hours ago. Well, actually, it's probably more than that now. 399 new cases of COVID-19 in Singapore. That looks a lot, but let's see what the details are. So now, if you look at this article here, it does seem a lot. 399 people. 399 people has been reported by Ministry of Health in Singapore. Now, it's about 48,000 cases so far in total. But look, what I want to really emphasize is how Singapore reports and shares the numbers in detail to us residents in Singapore. It's quite detailed and transparent to me. So I think to my view, it's a good way of communicating to residents on the back of the quite strict restrictions the government is imposing. So let's go through this, and I rather show you a mobile app that government has introduced quite early in the coronavirus era, from a few months ago. That there is so on WhatsApp there is a what do you call it, a group. I want to say an account, a government account called gov.sg, which gives us on daily basis, basically multiple times per day. If you register to this, very easy online, you get daily updates on the preliminary reports of confirmed cases of infections on COVID, and later in the day they confirm more in detail, and other updates in terms of recommendation of social distancing, symptoms and whatnot. That's quite useful. So let's go over yesterday's report, the final report that they published very late night. It says 23 p.m. So let's look over this. So look, this is the actual final report that they submitted yesterday. They are preliminary reports, which was issued at 4:53 yesterday. So look, it's preliminary, but the number hasn't changed, right? So I think the cutoff time is I think 12 p.m. So look, it looks a lot, but let's go into detail. So there are three groups of categories that they publish on reporting. One is imported, second is cases in community, third, cases residing in dormitories. Now, I'll explain that into detail. So imported, that's quite that's probably quite easy to understand. So imported cases means anyone who's coming back or coming in to Singapore, crossing the border, and if we found them infected to coronavirus, that's imported cases, right? And second, cases in community. So let me talk about cases residing in dormitory first before I go into the second category. So cases residing in dormitory. Who are those people categorized in this section? Is so for those people who has immigrated to Singapore and who have a usually a work permit, they live in dorms. Okay, so if you live in a dorm, usually dorms are set up with multiple people in the same room, and if it's a big dorm, there's going to be a lot of people who's living in that building, and there are multiple dorms in Singapore which has been set up, which has been built for those people to work in Singapore under the work permit. And unfortunately, there has been clusters found in these dormitories. So it has already been widely spread within these dormitories in multiple areas, spots. So the government is trying to do now is to test everyone in dormitories, and there are many people who are living in this dormitory. So that's why, given they're testing everyone, and given there has been already a cluster, there's the number of people will be increasing on a daily basis. And if you look at this, so let's go back to category. So cases residing in dormitory is that, okay? And for cases in community, these are anyone in Singapore that doesn't get categorized into cases in dormitory. So these are people like us, me, and other people who are renting a house somewhere who's not living dorms, basically, in short. So if I get infected, I will be categorized into these cases in community. Okay, and in terms of numbers, right? So the first one, imported case, 3 out of 399. Cases in community, 9 people. That's not a lot. Cases residing in dormitories, 387 people. So look, that seems a lot of people. They are testing a lot of people, so there's going to be numbers. And what we know from this is we know where the cluster is. We know where it's happening, and it's actually controlled. Let's say in a way, right? Cases in community is what we need to worry about because these are people out there who's living in houses and families who's not living in dorms. So this is, I would say, an equivalent number to, let's say, Tokyo's number, because not many workers live in dorms. I think around Tokyo, right? And there are some, of course, but majority will be, I guess, equivalent to this cases in community. So 9 people. I think that's pretty controlled. I think that's pretty controlled. It's been like this, 9 single digit, or it does go to double digit, but it's around the tens and twenties. It doesn't really go above beyond 30 people since the last 1.5 month after phase one has been implemented. Phase one, I'll probably explain that in another video. So I think it's been quite controlled, I would say. And I know there's been a lot of, well, not a lot, but there's been some news that's been reported in Nikkei or TV report around. There's been a explosive infection increase in Singapore because the government has not seriously considered, you know, programs, not programs. I'm not sure what the good word is, but let's say programs to you know to prevent infections for people residing in dormitories. But look, you can't do everything. Okay, so I in fact now is in a view that okay, now government is trying their best to control, and we know what they're doing, and it seems to be from these numbers, it's quite controlled, and and all these cases 399, 96% are linked to known clusters. Who are they? They're probably those dormitory ones. And also some of the imported case or cases in community. Linked means we know where these people got infected from. Okay, so they're links. Okay, so there's only 4% from 400, close to, that we don't know where they got the virus from. So that's only like what? Shishi, Juroku, 4 times 4, 16 people. That's not a lot, right? So um, reports like this I like because I know where it is, and I was playing another video that look, there's also another map that the government also in Chinese Asia reports to the public where these people have been. Okay, so you can understand if you had been in the same area that confirmed infected persons has been, you should be careful, uh, and you should be mindful of your health. If your temperature has gone up, you should suspect a virus infection, right? So okay, I'll probably stop there because it's getting a bit long. I will try to be more concrete, straightforward, and easy to understand. But I do talk a lot. I do tend to diverge from my main point that I want to deliver in my message. So please let me know if I'm deviating too much. Okay, the second thing I wanted to touch on was go to travel. Uh, the reason I wanted to touch on this, and I have already touched on this, was because there's so little information available on the internet for in English for those people that doesn't speak English. Sorry, that doesn't speak Japanese to understand the framework and the system. How do you apply? What's the latest news? Now, I'm sorry that I haven't been updating the last couple of days, although there has been a few updates. Uh, so let me just update it in this English version. But what I wanted to say was, look, if I go to Google and search for Go to Travel, which is the name of this program, what I get? Top stories. Boom. Japan Times, Nikkei, Japan Times, Japan Times, Japan Times, Nikkei, Mainichi, some YouTube channels. Okay, now I see there are a few videos, right? But look, I was expecting some travel agency websites such as JTV to give those people English advice or English explanation of what this campaign is, but there is none, right? So that's why I thought it would be useful for those people to understand what's happening, what's the latest update. And look, if I even go to the second page, there's nothing. There's nothing anymore. There's nothing anymore. There's only a few pages and some newspaper articles that talks about this framework. So I thought it would be useful for those people. So I will be updating that. And today is the first day that you can actually start staying by using this Go to Travel. Okay, and there has been some guidance that's been announced by the government after it has been implemented, which it's a bit too shaky. But okay, one, they recommend for I think young people and elderly not to, or at least elderly people not to travel so much because they are at high risk, right? Younger people, I think they initially said, look, young people don't travel with big numbers because for you guys, usually there is no symptoms. Candidates are those young people because you're super healthy and young. But I think they kind of lifted that. I think if I'm wrong, please correct me. I'll probably correct that later as well. And secondly, this was a change from a few days ago. If you have already booked, for those who are in Tokyo, uh, living in Tokyo, you have already booked because you wanted to use this to go to travel. And for those people who has booked to go to Tokyo, uh, you may have to cancel that because in my previous video I told you that Tokyo, go to Tokyo and come out of Tokyo, it has been non-applicable to use this framework or scheme. So for some people, you have canceled the trip. For those trips that required a cancel fee that's been applied by the travel agencies or the hotels direct from hotels, you can use this. The government has announced that they will compensate for that cancel fee. So if you have already booked, I don't know how they're gonna do it. It's gonna be pretty complex because you have to avoid those people who may use the system for fraud, right? So, but government did announce that you can apply to use this. They will compensate you if you incurred any cancellation fee um, by canceling because you thought you will be benefiting from go to travel. Okay, but how can you tell the reasons? You may cancel because um, you had another work to do, you know. But I guess look, okay, sorry, it doesn't really benefit us. Actually, it does. Okay. So anyway, so that's the update. I don't go too long. It's already been 17 minutes. I think I'm talking too long. I think longer than my Japanese. I think I'll do Japanese better. So hope the news was beneficial. I will be I will try to use as proper English as possible, but bear with me. But I do hope that many Japanese people will start learning more English by looking at the Japanese version and the English version so that you can compare and see because I'm essentially talking about the same thing. I am. For some detail parts, I might be, it might be a little bit different, but it should be similar. So please learn. You should always check the sources of what uh, the things that's been reported in Japanese press. But I will be happy to, let's say, kickstart your journey to that by delivering news from overseas that relate to you. Okay, so thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel. Check my Twitter out. And if you're interested, I will be delivering good news and some news that has been not been really reported, but maybe has been reported, but something that I would like to revise or have more details that's been reported on the ground. So thank you for watching. See you soon in my next video.